Okay, we're going to take a look at an app called Ready to Print, and this is an app which has a lot of different exercises on it, as you can see. It's made by an occupational therapist, and it's aimed at teaching children pre-writing skills. So you basically go through the different sort of exercises in sequence or in order, and it helps you to get ready for school and for writing. So let's go ahead and have a look. You can always press the help button on the page, and it'll tell you about what's going on that page, or a little bit about the program. We have a couple of things at the bottom. First one that's important is logging on. You can create a new user, and it keeps data on each of the users. We've got Benjamin here. We're just going to stay with Benjamin right now, and we can log in. Settings. We've got a bunch of different things. Settings for everyone. Remember, logged in user every time app is started. Require a user to log in every time app is started. Or disable user login functions. You can change any of these on the left hand side. You can reset everything. And then you'll see what this all means as we go through the app. The size of the pictures, width of the tracing. You can move these up and down. Automatically move through levels on or off. We'll leave that off for the demonstration. Make the back button invisible, which means it'll still be here, but it won't show on the screen, but you will know that it's there, so you can touch it. Show the speed and accuracy scores, and show certificates at the end if you wish. So we'll leave that all as it is, and let's go ahead and start with the exercises. You come on here, you've got 20 different things on the top, and there's a menu that nicely falls out on the side here, where you can change the size of the object. So we can make it very small, we can make it large, automatically move through levels, and the back button and so on can also be accessed from this screen. Let's leave it on large and show you what this is all about. So because it's on large, they appear quite big, and the idea is to touch the objects. This is obviously working on touch. If you get it wrong, it does record the score of your accuracy on how you touch those places. If you go back out, you can start right at level 1. We were on somewhere up here on the apples, and it goes all the way up to the end. Now if we make that size very small, just to show you the extremes, let's go ahead and look at the popcorn, for example. You'll see that the size is much smaller, requiring much more accurate placement of your finger or your stylus. You can always use a stylus to do this. I'll show you that later on in the demonstration, where I recommend using it for tracing and so on, and then you can continue. So let's go back out and let's have a look at another exercise. It gives you a certificate at the end of each exercise, tells you levels completed, the accuracy and your speed, and you can view all of that at the end. Now it's touch again, but this is in order. So let's start off at the beginning here. We'll make the size somewhere in the middle, and we won't play much more with size anymore, but you get the idea of how that works. Let's click go, and instead of being able to touch anywhere on the screen, you now have to touch in order as they highlight. And so on. Let's go back out and have a look at another one. There's our certificate. Let's look at matching, and again we've got options here. The size of the units on the screen, we can leave that. Everything else we'll leave as is. Let's go ahead and start with the first one, and you basically have to drag the correct one to the correct position. If you get it wrong, it just goes back into place. And so on, and then you move on to the next level. So it gets harder and harder. I'll show you some of the other options as you get towards the end. You've got 6 and 5. So I'll show you this. So you've got 5 shapes down the bottom and 6 on the top. Okay, I think you get the idea of that one. Let's go ahead and look at another exercise. Paths. Now this is where I do use a stylus pen to do this. Let's start by making the path wide, and I'll show you how that works. We'll make sure we start on the very beginning. And you have to basically take your stylus and I like to draw the line extremely straight like that all the way to the end, and then you do it again on the bottom, and you can see, and then you can move on to the next one. And I'm going to go back out and show you what happens when we reduce the width all the way to the narrowest. And of course you can have it anywhere in between. So now you've got a much narrower line, and you do have to try to stay within the line. You'll see that the accuracy at the top goes down at the further you are off the line. So I'll show you that one more time here. You watch the accuracy at the top. If you stay within the line is 100, and if you go all over the place or a little bit wonky, you can still complete it, but your accuracy is 74. So that's a very nice way of doing that, and it goes all the way through these. Lots of different types of shapes, right angles, combinations, right angle path. Let's have a look at this one. So you have to go all the way to the end, trying to stay as good as you can, and if you get off track, your accuracy will suffer. So let's go back out, go on to the next one, which is shapes, and these are the basic shapes: S, diamond, X, cross, triangle, rectangle, and so on. Again, you can have it as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. We'll put it somewhere in the middle to show you this. Let's have a look at a rectangle, and the same thing, learning to trace shapes, and you move on to the next one. Let's go back out. We completed that one. Let's go have a look at connect the dots here. Vertical, horizontal, cross, square, diagonal right, diagonal left, X, triangle, rectangle, and diamond. Again, learning any of those shapes. Invisible back button you can turn on or off, and this is basically going from dot to dot, so no more settings on there. Let's go ahead and look at the triangle, and it tells you which way to go, and try to make that line as straight as you can. And again, it sort of does your accuracy based on what the shape would look like without the borders being in there now. So you've gone on to the next level without that help. Now if you do go off track like this, you'll notice that my accuracy based on not being in the lines is not very good. Let's go ahead and look at diamonds. Then we go back to 100%. So let's go back out from there and look at the next one. There's our certificate. Pinching. This is one of my favorites. 5, 10, 15 or 20 times to repeat the number. Spacing. This is a nice idea for having your fingers wide apart or narrow. Let's start off with narrow and show you how this works. And the idea is to pinch the two together. Now you've completed that level. If we go back in and make it wider, you'll see that you need a much more wide pincer movement with your fingers. Okay, let's head back out. Let's have a look at letters. You can work on capital letters, lowercase, or mixed. I'll show you how this works. You go on to capital, you have all of them selected at the top. Again, you can, if you watch the letter down here, you can make the letter large. You can make the letter small. So if we start off with a large one, let's go ahead and look at A. I use a stylus for this again. And again, it's a matter of accuracy. Don't forget they don't have to be perfectly straight lines, just like mine are a little squiggly there. But it does give accuracy if it's within the actual shape. Now the good thing is you get to practice this on your own on the right hand side, and you can do it again if you're not happy with that, or you could move on to the capital B and so on. Let's go back out. completed that one there. Let's go back into letters. Lowercase, pretty much the same thing. You can go through any of the letters in the alphabet. Let's go look at S and put the size all the way down. And again, this is where a stylus certainly comes in handy. You move on to the next one. You can practice big if you like, or you can make them small, and so on, and you continue to go through that. If we go back out one more time, just to show you the final part of this, you have mixed letters, so you can go through these, and then let's pick this one, we'll make it large, and then you do them both together at the same time. And again, use of a stylus is handy. You don't have to, you can use your finger if you want to. And that's really how that part works. So let's go back out and have a look at the final one, which is free drawing, which is nice. You can do pretty much anything you want. Writing practice, you can draw some happy faces. Changing the colors is simple. Just click on here and it changes for you. As you can see, I'll draw you a very special picture because I know that you're very fond of my artwork, and I'm going to draw you a boat. One day this will go on sale for a lot of money. So first come, first served, really. So, you know, give me a call. Also, if you want to enter your children into a drawing contest where it looks like the child has actually drawn the picture, but mummy or daddy did it, feel free to send me an email and I'll send you my amazing drawings that certainly look like a child. I'm sure there's a reason for that. So let's have a look at view progress, and what this does, it brings up all the data, which is great. So you have all of the exercises that you've done, you have the day, the time that you've done them, and then you have your accuracy, your speed, and the settings that they were on. It saves the data for 90 days per user, and I think that's incredibly good. And you can erase any of that at any time. So I hope you enjoyed that. It was a quick review or demonstration of an app called Ready to Print.